here. I am doing another discussion video. This one will be talking about all my favorite anime that I ever watched in my life. Now, some of these might be your favorite anime, but if not, let me know in the comments below what is your favorite anime. See if any of them matches up with mine. But yeah, I am gonna be just hit my hand on the desk. But yeah, I'll be going over all of my favorite anime, A to Z. So let's begin. We'll start off with Afro Samurai, the complete series. Man, when this came out, dude, Samuel Jackson was like, is there nothing this man can do? And it's like him being brought in when I think it was the RZA who created this. He definitely did the soundtrack, but it was only 2 seasons, and cool hardcore like true samurai. Well, he's a ronin, but cool samurai show. But Afro Samurai, man, it's just like an awesome character. The series is phenomenal, and just him just doing all those sword actions and like wielding that katana just like so swiftly, and it's just like brutal. It's just like uh, no different than what you see from like Wolverine almost, like in the comics when he's like in Japan and he's just, or at least that type of hero is just like that the hero's not in it for glory, he's out for revenge, but it's a revenge story. But he does have his heroic moments, but it's just like the way he goes about doing it is doesn't get like some he doesn't get the level of appreciation that uh you would think heroes normally would from doing like saving people, but it's just like uh I forgot what we call those kind of heroes, but just like you do an act, it's like no good deed goes unpunished kind of situation, and it's like he just doesn't care. He's just like he saw it wrong, he did it his own way to kill the bad guy, of course, but it's just like he uh it's just this like it's, like I said, no good deed goes unpunished. But it's pretty much like the story standing around like there's these two headbands. uh Nobody knows how they were created. Some speculate they was created by the gods. There's only two, the number one and number two, and people killed each other over these headbands. And for the longest time, the number one person who wields the number one handband cannot be touched at all, except by whoever wields the number two headband. And but anybody who's wielding the number two headband, uh, anybody can take a shot at him. But the thing is, it's just like so many people like died over these headbands just to be like whoever wields the number one is pretty much God in a way. But of course, Afro as a kid saw his father, who was the original number one headband wielder, was killed by who Rob Perlman's character, who was called Justice, ironically. And so throughout the years, Afro trained himself on like a bloodlust revenge to kill, find the number one wielder to kill him to avenge his father's death. It was an awesome series, like a nice complete series. The season two is just uh like same quality as season one, man. So like I definitely recommend you watch on this series. I'm pretty sure it's on Hulu, but if not, check it on Amazon Prime. It's an awesome show. No, matter of fact, no, scratch that. 'Cause I know the complete series of season one and two are free on YouTube. Because the last time I watched it was on YouTube, complete stuff. I watched it like a long movie. But yeah, definitely check those out. I'm pretty sure it's free on YouTube, so you can definitely go check it out. Assassination Classroom. Now, I watched this on a recommendation of a former coworker of mine a couple years back. It was right before the pandemic hit, where I took the I was told about this, and then once everybody's on lockdown, I took the time to binge watch the entire show on Hulu, and it's a really good show. I like the uh, character Sensei. I'm pretty sure they call him Sensei or teacher, uh, but pretty much like this supposed alien who's seemingly unkillable, except by this uh, weird green material that's pretty much like his kryptonite, essentially, that kind of disrupts his composition of his own body and evaporates it. It's kind of like acid to him in a way. But every other mechanism, uh, even poison, isn't effective against him. So he uh, made a deal with the Japanese government and say, okay, I want to teach this class on how to be assassins. And in the end, if they haven't figured out how to kill me by the uh, when the by the time they're supposed to graduate, because I think this lasted for at least a couple of years. But I've been watching the entire show. I'm pretty sure it's only a couple of seasons. But by the time comes to the graduation time, at least the supposed to be their graduation, he supposed to have figured out how to kill him. If not, he was gonna, because he supposedly took out a chunk of the moon and said, like, I will pretty much do the same thing to the planet Earth if y'all don't figure out how the way to kill me. I'll make you a deal. If you figure out a way to kill me, if you don't figure out a way to kill me, I will uh, destroy this planet. But in the meantime, I will at least teach you how to at least figure out a way to kill me. Like, just allow me to teach this class. And this show was like had its like intense moments, but it's just like it was just fun. It was like still fun to watch, and that because I seen the image of this guy years prior here and there, and I never knew where it was from until my friend told me about it, and it was like it was he had like an eerie face, like not eerie, not like on there's other eerie stuff I've seen in anime we'll talk about later in the video, but his face, that smile on his face is like very odd looking at first. But Assassination Classroom was like a fun watch. It's not my tippy top favorite, but I do consider it as like a good watch. Beyblade. You talking about like old school, man. I remember watching Beyblade as a kid, and it's like I really wanted those, those spin top toys. This anime made those things like more intense than they need to be, man. Because it's like you got, people from different walks of life and from like, dojos and what have you that wielded these little, uh, uh, little little like Power Ranger coins in a way, with these like animal symbols or these or animal or creature symbols that's on top of these Beyblades. And when you wield them out and in these little tournaments, and they like spin and then just like erupt into these big creatures that fight almost like. Of course, you see the physical Beyblades, bumping into each other, trying to knock each other, one of the other off the platform. But you also see like these some of these creatures coming alive and like attacking each other. It's awesome. I remember it being awesome. I haven't came back to Beyblade. They did like a rebooted version or a remake or something like that a couple of years back. I didn't watch it. It didn't feel like the same to me. But I remember watching the original Beyblade and it was awesome. It was an awesome show. And like maybe I will come back to this at some point because I know it's on Hulu. I can easily rewatch this whenever I want to. But I remember it being like great and was watching these two just these Beyblades just going at each other, and it's like these group of these teammates is just this friendly camaraderie and just like these going these crazy adventures like around the world, going to these different tournaments, honing their skills and getting challenged by all these weird Beyblade players. I mean, the whole thing is like great. I love Beyblade. It's so good. Bleach. Now, Bleach, I caught it by the second season. I didn't watch the first season at first. I caught the first season later on, but a lot of people say like, yeah, which I kind of concurred. Like the first season of Bleach was very slow in certain areas, but it picks up by season two moving forward. And I think this is kind of anime that's hella filled uh a lot of filler more than almost any other, more so than even like no, I think uh One Piece probably had more filler episodes than, but I think Bleach is right behind that. Personally, I think they both had like a fair bit of filler that kind of like I want to say it's annoying, but it's just kind of like superfluous, or at least just really kind of pointless filler stuff here and there. And not like anime don't have their fair share of filler, but it's like you got to balance out your filler, or at least minimize your filler. You don't want most of your series to be filler. But I think like Bleach kind of like have half filler, half main story. But you got Johnny on Bach as Johnny on Bosch. I think it's Bosch, not Bach. Johnny on Bosch as Ichigo, who was their not the original, but like second Black Power Ranger, and like I love him in any anime he's in, but of course him as like Vast Stampede and Ichigo stands out to me. Oh, and then of course he's also Nero in Devil May Cry series, so like he plays iconic swordsman, or at least Vast Stampede is not a swordsman, but he typically does play a very cool swordsman. But Bleach is an awesome anime in of itself. Just watching like these people wield these different types of weapons that once you just say that cool word, I was like, that's like and it's like a very cool word. It's like anime usually come up with very cool words, but their particular cool word is like probably one of my favorite anime words. It's like Bankai. And I was like, I don't want to just say Bankai like Bankai. No, you gotta say it like Bankai with some oomph to it. Like you just ready to like engage somebody. Like you just Bankai, and it's like you're watching that sword just change, and then of course you got this Shinigami mask, and just like of course if you don't know what Shinigami is, it's pretty much like in this universe Samurai Ghostbusters in a way, if that makes sense to you. But pretty much like Shinigami was pretty much like Grim Reapers of Japan. Like in Japan, Japanese lore, Shinigami is pretty much like a Grim Reaper in a way, their version of the Grim Reaper. But this anime was like awesome, and I was just watching Ichigo progress. Of course, going through his because it's like with Goku and his different Saiyan transformations, or Naruto and his different transformations. Ichigo has like very cool iconic transformations. But I love, my favorite is definitely Hollow Ichigo, when you just get that pale white skin and that this evil evil psychological his bad guy mental. The Hollow Ichigo is pretty much like his like very like this the evil side of Ichigo in his mind is constantly trying to take over, because he got a crazy familial genetics. Because if you haven't seen it anime, I do highly recommend it. You probably want to just watch season 2 going forward, but if you feel like you should delve into season 1, go right ahead. But because what I'm about to describe probably wouldn't make sense to you if you haven't seen the anime, but it's pretty much like he got a weird genetic familial background, where his father is a soul reaper, while his mother was a what's that doggone name of that other? Because like a different faction that does the same thing, sort of like the Soul Reapers, but they will like mostly like bows and arrows build out of their it's kind of like mana or energy, but it call it like something else in the show. but his energy kind of arrows. But that faction is where his mother came from. But she was also possessed by a hollow, which is something they hunt most of the time. And so when his mother and father got together and had him, he pretty much got like three different genetic max-ups that incorporate his powers, making him a very uh, one of the most powerful like soul reapers in the Soul Society. But it's a great show, highly recommended. I tell you, man, it's an awesome thing to jump into. Blue Exorcist. I binge watched this on Netflix last year. I mean, last year during the whole shutdown period, gave me a lot of time to binge watch certain shows that some people recommended. I checked out Blue Exorcist. It seemed very interesting. This is an awesome show. Actually, it's pretty much on some kind of occult level stuff. Pretty much like it's supposed to be like the son of a demon or son of a devil, at least in this interpretation. And he was like, I guess like adopted. I'm pretty sure it's been a while. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like adopted or it actually is the son of the an exorcist. Because the exorcist is pretty much like the way I talk about Bleach, like soul reapers, but only human people who actually exercise demons and ghosts and they fight them using different abilities. And they got like an actual school. They actually teach young exorcists and then bring them out on the field. It's kind of like if Ghostbusters taught a school about ghost busting, and like it's kind of like that in a way. But Blue Exorcist is a solid show. It has like actually has like 2 seasons on Netflix you can watch right now. But yeah, I think it was a pretty solid show. I put it on the list. I figure I liked it enough to figure it's good to be worthy on my list of favorite animes. Card Captors. I remember watching the hell out of this show. You talking about like, cutesy girl anime? This and Sailor Moon was like right up there. And it has like a iconic theme songs like Wind, water, shadow, wood, sword, thunder, power, sleep, card captors of the clouds, expect the unexpected now. And man, that was like a awesome theme song. I don't like they did like a sequel to the show. It's called Clear Card Arc, and I watched some of it. It was all of it on YouTube, but I didn't like that arc that much. We just because I'm pretty sure it was like only 1 or 2 seasons of Card Captor Sakura. Watch the original. I do recommend watching just the original Card Captors. And it's pretty much like this young girl who's pretty much like the kind of the chosen one, or at least like supposed to be the reincarnation or in some fashion like that of the original wielder of the cloud cards. Is these it's kind of like it's very magic based. It's kind of like how tarot cards is. There's these cloud cards where it's like each one has like a specific power that's created by this sorcerer, Cloud Reed, who eventually, whoever was supposed to be his next reincarnation supposed to wield these things. But it's been a while since I watched. It's been a while since I watched this show, but I remember pretty much the basis. She had to collect these cloud cards that kind of got scattered amongst her town, and they pretty much came alive, started running rampant here and there, and she had to recollect them using this pink staff. They used to be blue or black because it was like Cloud Reed changed it to pink because he knew somehow that the next wielder is supposed to be a girl, so kind of like pink girl. But this is like an awesome show, and just watching her trying to collect these cloud cards, and like a few of them are very more powerful than most because like they will typical elements, or at least affect space and time in a way. Like one of them is a time card that kind of like that's probably the most powerful is, and then like that kind of because it's affecting everyone around to a large degree, than more so than most other cards. And then she used them as weapons to defeat other cards just to recapture them. It's kind of like Pokemon in a way, because whatever cards she captured previously, she utilizes them in like or at least in combination with each other, like to be able to, in a way, learn how to be able to capture them. Like there's a shadow card, probably one of my favorite cards in episodes uh, that I like, where she's trying to capture this shadow card, where the shadow card is pretty much like trying to envelop her school in shadow, but she already captured in previous episodes this light card. That's pretty much like or at least I could be wrong, because I know like she used shadow to defeat light to try to capture light, or she uses light to try to capture shadow. I'm getting my episodes mixed up because it's been on such a long time. But she uses like that in those cards in a genius way to capture other cards, or she used certain cards in combination with each other to be able to capture one particular card. But it's this is like a very very cool anime. Definitely check out Card Captor Sakura. Very cool, especially if you like those cutesy girl anime. But this is like a solid show. Cowboy Bebop. Now I will be doing like a review of this next month because like I thoroughly enjoyed this anime. I because I watched this like a third time a few last like I started rewatching this last December, but I rewatched it again in January, late January into February, uh, like a third time, because the first time I watched it was during the shutdown period last year, and it's like it came out in the '90s, but I slept on it because it didn't seem like it interested me at the time. But man, the show is amazing. It's only one season, 26 episodes. Now, like I'll talk about this in my review of the show next month, but the final battle between Spike and his nemesis Vicious was kind of lackluster, sort of to me when I saw it. But it's just that I expected more in that final fight. But everything prior to that was just an awesome show. It's kind of like mini movies in a way, and the jazz is it's just like when I was talking about briefly with like Disney Soul in my other video, but the jazz in this is just so incredible, and just this whole detective noir, futuristic noir thing they got going on was so cool. The environment is just like you just want to just live in this environment just for a bit. Uh, the whole space cowboy thing going on. This show is phenomenal. I can see why people hyped up this anime so much over the years. I did not understand it until I took the time to actually watch it for myself. And man, oh man, this is great. I like Spike, but my second favorite character is definitely Edward. I love Edward. Usually I hate characters that speak in the third person, but Edward is an exception to the rule. I love Edward. Because I love when Edward talks like this. Like, come play with Edward. I love Edward. I love Edward. I love Edward so much. If you haven't seen Cowboy Bebop, the hype is real. It's definitely worth the watch. Yeah. So yeah, it's on my list. Of course, I'll be remiss if I do not add Dragon Ball Z onto my favorite anime list. It's not my top favorite anime, but it's definitely in the top 5 for me at least. But Dragon Ball Z, you talking about like classic anime, iconic anime. Man, Dragon Ball Z, man. Now, Dragon Ball Z has its moments. Dragon Ball Z Super has its moments, but technically, well, a lot of people have like their issue with GT, but there's elements of GT that I like the whole Super Saiyan 4. I wish they kept that going because that was like a cool concept. I love the look of Super Saiyan 4. But that's probably the one thing I like out of JT, where they came up with Super Saiyan 4, and then the fusion dance, and the Patara earrings fusion. I love the fusions. They're probably my favorite type of like transformation in a way. But then like Dragon Ball Super with Super Saiyan God uh, uh, and Super Saiyan Blue, and then Ultra Instinct. Those are cool new transformations. Dragon Ball Z is just like known for its transformations. It's not going to end anytime soon. This what they do now. There's no each. A lot of people talk about how like if you ever watched Death Battle, they did like at least two different videos with Superman versus Goku. Now they mentions, I'm not going to spoil anything if you haven't watched it, but it's very cool episodes. But people always, well, at least among the people that I talk to, always talking about like, because I think there's a little bit of bias to it. Goku, they talk about Goku will definitely be Superman. Well, even though Goku is a very powerful character, each of his transformations has a clear limit. As if you ever watched the show, anybody he's dealing with is more powerful than the current one he achieved in the previous season, always knocks him out of it because eventually he burns out. Superman doesn't burn out of his power. He's always got power coming directly from the sun, so he has no limit to his power. Unlike Goku, who has a limit to no matter what level he reaches, he has a clear limit, no matter how powerful it is at the time. But yeah, when he became Super Saiyan for the first time, that's still to this day probably the most iconic moment in anime history, when he just goes Super Saiyan for the first time, the legendary Super Saiyan up against Frieza. And of course, you got Broly. Broly's probably Broly, Cooler, and Goku Black is part, and then Kid Buu. Part of my favorite, of course, Frieza. Well, I like all those. Not all of them, but it's just like Dragon Ball Z villains are so iconic, and they're so fun to watch. I don't like Super Buu or like Fat Buu that much, but Kid Buu was like fun to watch because that was his most powerful transformation. But I like Goku Black, even though I wish there was like a lot of people agree with me. Is like Goku Black should have been like a different universe, since Super deals with different universes. But I wish Goku Black was. I'm not gonna spoil what Goku Black is if you haven't seen Goku Black and Dragon Ball Z Super. But he's not a different universe Goku who's evil, which I kind of wish that was. I mean, you kind of get the feeling that is the case because he speaks in a British accent. But I love Goku Black. Uh, the thought of like an evil Goku, and it's like at least a different version of Goku in a way. But yeah, Goku Black is like shot right up to me as like one of my favorite Dragon Ball Z villains. But you got like oh yeah, like when you raise up when trying to get the spirit bomb, like yeah, I mean as kids we all tried out the Kamehameha move, and we all tried to like do the whole spirit bomb thing, giving the energy or at least holding it up and just trying to toss it. We all did that as kids. Don't lie like you wouldn't. Uh, but yeah, Goku, great anime character, and it's like it's no person. You might have a different favorite anime like I do compared to Dragon Ball Z, but you will not disregard. No, there's no person who loves anime would ever disregard the awesomeness and the icon that is Dragon Ball Z, and to this day is like revered as one of the best animes of all time. Death Note. Now, Death Note, I watched this on a recommendation of another uh, YouTuber that watch like it was like became like a friend uh, of my Anita. She, you know, I was watching her, you know, talk about this anime. I never heard of it before. I seen the character of Ryuk in a lot of like still images here and there. It was a very creepy look to it, but I eventually watched it. It was like a few years back when I watched the entire. I binge watched the entire show of Death Note. It only had like I think 2 seasons. I think it was 2 seasons or one long season. Uh, but this is like a kind of a hardcore anime, you know. And I'm telling you right now, man, it's just like it's so much uh, involved in this show, where like yeah, the protagonist is the villain. This is so unique, and man, it's just they bastardized it in like the Netflix show. And there's like a musical, apparently a Japanese musical that isn't very good from what I've heard. So it's like it's hard to recreate this because like you got like a very intelligent uh, villain who's the lead character in the show going up against like a detective who's as equally smart, if not smarter. And if someone's involved in twists and turns and machinations involved, I cannot go over it here, but I do highly recommend watching Death Note. It's so good, and like I thoroughly enjoyed it. But it's just like it has its hardcore moments. It doesn't. It's not like have those lighthearted, jokey moments like most anime does. Uh, it is very serious in a way. So yeah, you know, Death Note is still awesome, and just to watch, you know, it's kind of like Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty, just watching these two smart characters trying to outwit each other in this big chess game, and trying to, because they know who each other are, and like one trying to take down the other, but they ain't trying to let on that they know. They know, but they ain't trying to let on they know, kind of thing. And it's like that kind of mind games is what makes this, you know, show so awesome. The devil is a part timer. Now, I watched this anime once again during the shutdown period, and I haven't seen it since. I remember enjoying it because the whole concept of like this. I don't know if it's the devil or at least a son of a devil, but it's just that some demon like character in a way, just coming to the real world. He liked it here. He just going through mundane life. Of course, he fights some kind of like supernatural creatures here and there, but he just want to stay and live just like a mundane life, just as like a he treats like he's kind of like you ever watch like Good Burger. He's like Ed, where he, or at least SpongeBob, who like characters who like love working at fast food places and think it's like awesome and kind of thing, and trying to make it like the best, you know, fast food place as possible. And it's like he and it's like a very interesting take, and it's like, you know, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I mean, it's on Netflix, so definitely check out uh uh Devil is a Part Timer. It's very cool. Digimon, Digital Monsters, Digimon Power Champions. Oh, I mean, Digimon, talking about childhood nostalgia, man. Now the original, I put up the original one because like I watched Digimon, you know, each generation of Digimon up to the point of Digimon Tamers. At least like I guess 3 generations of Digimon, and then I kind of fell off after that. So like I'm a Digimon purist. I watched my fair share of Digimon. Of course, I love Agumon and his Digi evolutions to War Greymon, and then Gabumon with Metal Gabumon, Metal uh, Gabumon. No, not Gabumon. I'm blanking. It's like Metal something. Uh, Metal Gagrugumon. Yeah, Metal Gagrugumon. And then you got all these like different like Digi Destin. Pretty much like the group of kids at camp got transported into the digital world, met up because it's pretty much like not like a rip off, but it's pretty much like a different take on like Pokemon in a way. But instead of like you trying to catch all different kinds of Pokemon species, you get one creature, and they're your partner. And they actually talk real words. They don't just say their names. So this makes them kind of different. But they go through a digital world trying to stop like these evil Digimon from like destroying the digital world in some shape or fashion, and then trying to get back to the real world. And it's fun to watch because like you got these they call it Digi-Destin, and they got these Digivices that help their partners digivolve into powerful creatures. And then of course you got these crests that depict their innate personality that makes them great in a way. Like you got like Ty, the leader, who got the crest of courage, and you got his friend Matt, who got the crest of friendship, and like each one got like impressive intelligence, reliability, friendship, hope and light, and then you got crest of love, that kind of thing. And they try to live up to that ideal. They don't understand at first why they would get these things. They don't feel like they're courageous. They don't feel like they have like the showcase their friendship the best way. But throughout the course of this entire series, you get to see them live up to that namesake and their crest, and it also helps their Digimon devolve into more powerful creatures. But just to see their dynamics change. They each one have their own little arcs. Of course, they butt heads with each other. From here and there to almost the point of like almost Civil War, Marvel Civil War in a way. But it's just like awesome show, and like if you haven't watched Digimon at all, watch the very first Digimon series. It's like they have all the Digimon series on YouTube, but each one is named differently. But it's the original Digimon series where you got these particular characters. I'm pretty sure they're called something specific because there's Digimon Tamers, which is the third generation of Digimon. But they have images on Hulu of the original Digimon series with these particular characters. And when you see this is the original Digimon. Hop into it, check it out for at least give it at least 5 episodes into it and see if you like it. Because I don't know if it's because I don't think it's like a product of its time, because it doesn't show anything that's kind of time capsule-y where it's like, oh yeah, that's definitely early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s kind of stuff. Like, no. Aside from they show them getting back to the real world, and they have like the early versions of the cell phone, not like those big brick kind of things, but like those flip phones, like the early flip phone things. But besides that, they're not dated at all, which is kind of cool. You can easily pop into this, and it feels like it could easily be like today, or at least a few years ago almost. But yeah, definitely check out Digimon. It's easily one of my favorite animes that I grew up with. Still holds up in my opinion, at least the first 3 generations. And of course, you got like the second generation where they actually introduce where you get 2 Digimon merging to each other to create one single Digimon. And then the Digimon Tamers, you get to see biomerging, where you can the actual tamer merge with their own Digimon to create like an awesome Digimon creature. So the cool concepts on Digimon evolution. So yeah, definitely check this show out. I had to put this. I was debating whether or not to put this because technically it's still an anime, but it's based off a video game that I enjoy playing, Devil May Cry. And like I will mention this once I get to my video tomorrow of my favorite video games of all time. Devil May Cry is on that list, but the anime is awesome. It's only 1 season. It's relatively short. I think it's like, I'm pretty sure it's 10 episodes at the most, 10 or 13 episodes. But it's awesome. Just watching Dante just go through. There's no Virgil in this, but I'm pretty sure they was hinting at Virgil at the last episode. But if they would have made the second season, I hope they bring in like a make the season, make another season of this again, but with Virgil being the overarching villain, because he's literally on par with Dante is like a very powerful character. But this is a pretty awesome show, and Dante as a character is so cool. It's like just that chill kind of character is like, just laid back and just have like zero F's to give because he can easily deal with it, almost anything. Except a character is like the in their universe, Mundus is like their devil. Except for him and Virgil, everybody else he can easily take down in stride because it's not because most other demons and creatures not much of a match for him. In the same way, because like you gotta have like Virgil or Mundus who actually can easily pose an actual serious threat to him. That because there's very few times he takes fighting seriously, but when he gets serious, he gets serious. But this, he's one of my favorite video game characters of all time too. So definitely check out Devil May Cry. It's an awesome series. Duel Masters. I'm not sure if you ever familiarize yourself with Duel Masters. It's like riding on the high of what Yu-Gi-Oh is, or at least Yu-Gi-Oh became like a phenomenon, just like Pokemon was. Because if Digimon was like right on the coattails of Pokemon, Duel Masters was really riding on the coattails of Yu-Gi-Oh. Because I still enjoyed this. I might revisit this show again and because I will do eventually like a. Because I mentioned this before about like doing like a series review each season, like because next month I will be doing like rewatching Yu-Gi-Oh and do like a season review and posting it on the channel. And I will do something like this for Duel Masters too, because I really want to come back to Duel Masters. I'll do one for Jackie Chan adventures too, but it's gonna be like I'm gonna be doing like on camera discussing reviews like a few times a month. But as soon as like I slow down with my video game walkthroughs for the channel, pretty sure it's probably gonna be in the summertime when like I'll be a little bit light with my walkthroughs for video games. I'll probably have more time to do things like this on camera, and I want to do like season reviews on certain TV shows. Duel Masters will be one of them, and this is like one of those few animes that kind of breaks the fourth wall here and there, and I thought that it's so entertaining, and just watching the card game in of itself is awesome, and I really wish I think a lot of people sleep on this anime. Check out this anime. I'm pretty sure you can watch this on some way. I'm not sure if any streaming channel has this. I mean, I gotta check. Maybe Amazon Prime. I can look it up and buy the complete series. But this is like an awesome series, and where it's like a cool concept of a different like a card game, where you got like if I'm remembering correctly, the way the card game works is like because you got like these different tribes. It's like light tribe, fire tribe, dark tribe, earth tribe, and water tribe. And depending how you work your because like the lead character. I forgot his name, but he has a fire tribe, and as the season progressed, or at least the series progressed, he learns how to use different tribes in combination with his fire tribe. But he's primarily a fire tribe duelist, and the way the card game works is, instead of like life points like Yu-Gi-Oh, you have like shields where you take five. Before you draw your cards, you take 5 cards on the top of your deck, put them off the front, and like then you draw your cards, and then like each creature has like a power level, and you try to get by your opponent's creatures so you can get their shields. And once you knock all their shields down, because the shields are the cards, and then once the shields knocked down, you put it in your hand as your extra card in your hand. But once you get past all their shields, then you take one of your creatures and you can attack them directly, and then you win the game. That's what boils down how the card game works. But there's more to it. check out the show. It's awesome. It's funny as hell, and like you'll probably wish, because they had a real life card game, but it didn't pick up that much as well as Yu-Gi-Oh still is today. But it's an awesome series. I definitely highly recommend it, and I really wish they bring this back, at least in some fashion, even if it's like a reboot or a remake, or at least a different generations. Definitely bring this card game back, but definitely bring the show back. Fairytale. I watched this. I started watching this back in 2019 for the first time because my little brother recommended this to me actually, because I seen him watching this before and it's like got me curious. So I checked out Fairytale. And easily became one of my favorite shows because Natsu just like a fire magic wielding character. It's pretty much like an anime pretty much built around like magic based characters, and it's like magic being utilized in very creative different ways. And like you got like his rival slash friend Gray Fullbuster, who wields ice magic, and of course ice and fire. You got those two at odds constantly, and it's like they always trying to get into a fight. But man, this show is phenomenal. I love the hell out of this show. It's so much lore and just an amazing story arcs all around, and like you guys got to check it out. Fairytale is an amazing, funny show, but it's an amazing show, and Natsu really sells this show. But a lot of these characters, you'd be hard pressed to not find your favorite character amongst the roster, because Fairytale is pretty much like a guild, not like a community, but it's pretty much like well, it's a guild. It's like a team. So it's this kind of like a team full of like bounty hunters, or at least people who do like, imagine if like the neighborhood watch had his own club, and they'd go out to like help the community, like search for missing dogs, or not like it's kind of like a police mixed with like neighborhood watch in a way. They help out the community, but they also track down evildoers, or capture like bad like mages or wizards out in the world, and put a stop to their shenanigans. But yeah, this is it has like at least 4 seasons of it, and I think they bring a final season in. I'm not sure if it's out now by this point, but it's supposed to wrap up the story completely. I did play Fairytale the game on my YouTube channel complete. It took me a long time, but I finally got that wrapped up back in January. But you can watch my complete walkthrough. It's in Japanese, unfortunately. But after that point, I decided to after that game, I decided, I'm not playing any more Japanese only, dub versions of video games. Even if I love the anime, because I learned this with Jump Force and Seven Deadly Sins video game. I didn't even complete that walkthrough. I kind of lost interest, but I was done with like Japanese based video games because I want to be involved into the story, and it's like, especially if you don't have subtitles, that's another thing. Oh no, you got subtitles, but it's just like I just can't get into it without understand what they're talking about. Some people love sub. I'm a dub guy. It's very few sub Japanese voice actors that I enjoyed. Like I enjoy Akuma from Street Fighter's Japanese voice actor as much as the English, as well as I enjoyed Orochimaru from Naruto. His Japanese voice actor is just as good to me as the English voice actor Steve Bloom. Matter of fact, Steve Bloom, Tara Strong, Johnny on Bach, they all are my, and then of course Chris Sabat, and like they're my favorite voice actors, and they've done a lot of my animes that I got on this list. I'll be hard pressed to say that none of them has been in these things, because they've been in almost everything. They're very good, but definitely check out Fairytale. This is a very awesome anime. Food Wars. I stumbled upon this, man, because it's kind of like, if you love cooking and you love like kitchen nightmares, you'll love this anime. Because this is an anime, I gotta tell you right now, borderline hentai, man. It's like they skid it just by. It's like, okay, there's certain shots there. And it's like, I can't believe they got past like certain. Because I think it was on Toonami at some point. Yeah, it definitely was on Toonami a year ago, before the pandemic. Back in 2019, it was on, and it was showing like a little bit into 2020, but they stopped showing it. It was unfortunate, but it's on Hulu right now. You can binge watch like, because I had like the first two seasons on there. I'm pretty sure they're working on the third season. Was it three seasons on there? I'm pretty sure it was two seasons on the show on the app. But anyway, it's like definitely like an awesome show, and it's like you pretty much got Soma, the lead character, who is the son of like a very iconic and very famous chef, but it's like they run like a just like a kind of like a almost like a just like a run of the mill diner in a way, but of course someone doesn't realize his father is like one is like kind of well known chefs amongst the school he eventually gone to, because like pretty much you watch the episode 1, his father going on his business trip to cater all these famous people, and he sent his son to learn how to become a better chef, because he's a great cook, but he wants him to be better. And then throughout the course, it's kind of like Hogwarts in a way, but it's just like he goes to learn how to become like the best chef he can be, and he comes up to these many different rival chefs, but then he formed friendship among his dorm. These people in his dorm he became like very good friends with, that made him a better chef. But it's just like when it comes to these moments when because they have food wars. The name food wars is pretty much what is called their tournaments, or at least they're kind of like their Pokemon battles in a way, but with food. But when they try different, you can first and foremost, if you look up online, they actually made a cookbook filled with the show's iconic food they showcased in the anime. You can actually make these foods for real, and from what I heard, they're very good in real life. Is like, I guess the people involved love cooking. They did research. There's a lot of I'm pretty sure there's like cooking researchers and like consultants among creating this anime. So that stands to reason why I guess like the actual food is actually good in real life. But when you see them actually bite into these delicacies, they get this orgasm like moments, like like in their mind, kind of like in their mindscape. You get to see them like clothes getting ripped off almost, and it's like they're half naked half the time. And this one character called Meat. This character is like brown skinned chick, and it's like she got probably the most voluptuous body, and it's like every time like you see her, and it's like you almost like your eyes, even though you shouldn't like stare at a woman's breast in real life, you look her straight in the eye like a normal decent individual, but in this anime you are glued to her freaking chest, and at least the first moment she's introduced, your eyes is locked. And like the first scene you see her in, that she comes in, the scene goes right to her boobs, and then you get to see the rest of her, and she's a beautiful and stunning woman, like anime waifu type, definitely, and it's like she easily one of my favorite side characters. I love Mimi, and she specializes, of course that's not her name, but that's Soma's nickname for her, Meat, because he specializes in cooking all these different versions of meat-based foods, and she's very skilled at it. And you see the cutlery and like the way they will and create these different delicacies and the utensils that they use, and their inspirations, or at least their creativity of how they make something that's sometimes look like your day, like your regular bed of rice with a side of meat, but they add certain stuff to it that elevates the flavor in a way that's unprecedented. But you got to check out this show, Food Wars. It's easily. I'm definitely gonna rewatch this and do like season reviews for this one. I'm gonna have to make a list on like stuff that I'm gonna prioritize doing season like reviews and stuff like that. But yeah, Food Wars is definitely on this. This is awesome. I love Food Wars. Full Metal Alchemist, more specifically Brotherhood. I binge watched the entirely of Brotherhood a little over a year ago, and it's not in my top favorite, but I still enjoyed it. And the fact that like the way it's is built on alchemy, and it's kind of like in a way a period movie because it's kind of like right in like the era of 1940s industry, the technology of the time, because kind of like in that vein of the time period, and like just see Edward and his brother and like the adventures they went on to, the hardships. It was intense, and of course it's like this anime has like one of anime's most iconic, most status anime deaths. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but like you'll know when you see it. And but this anime is solid. I mean, it's a very good anime. Uh, as other anime I consider better than it, but it's still great nonetheless. And Full Metal Alchemist is like deserving to be in a lot of people's like top 10 at least favorite anime. But it's a solid show, and like I'd be hard pressed to not put it on the list because all the characters involved are awesome, and the way they use alchemy is very interesting. Just from science and magic put together. No other anime ever done so perfectly as this movie has done. So, just watching people wield alchemy in such unique ways, and it's just that drawn me in very quickly. But yeah, it's a very good anime. Hunter x Hunter. Once again, not my favorite anime, but I do thoroughly enjoy this anime, but especially during that little tournament arc they did. Like they do like at least a few bit of tournament arcs in each season, and I think those are my favorite episodes when they in like these tournament stuff, wielding their powers, and these characters, especially Kilowatt and Gong, are like my favorite characters out of the entire show. Just to watching those two just uh, do their thing is just awesome. It's on Netflix. The entirety, at least like the first three seasons of are on Netflix. So you can easily binge watch the entire show. But yeah, it is a great show. It has its intense moments. Like there's one moment where it's like Gong refused to give up, and it nearly, not nearly, he definitely got his arm broken when he was pinned, and it was hard to watch sometimes when during certain intense moments when they got real serious. Like, and of course they got serious moments, but it gets real in certain areas. And one of their villains is like, tell me, when you watch, I forgot his freaking name, but it's like he uses bubble gum or his bungee gum as a weapon, and he's like a very serious threat and very powerful villain. Uh, in the show, he's a freaking pedophile. How can you not look at that character and listen to him talk the way about Killua and Gong and other characters their age in a way that doesn't seem like he's a pedophile? And it's like, this is odd. Just to, like nobody's gonna call the cops on him. It's like this, he's on some pedophile shit, and it's like that was like a unique. I just say he's a unique character, but definitely check out Hunter x Hunter. It's like a very good show. Inuyasha, you have a classic anime, man. I watched this on Toonami for years when I was in my teens. And I was like watching a lot of Toonami, mostly uh, for other anime too. But Inuyasha is probably one of those like late night shows that I stay up just to make sure I watch, even though I had to get off of school the next morning. Sometimes I definitely thoroughly enjoy watching Inuyasha just to stay up, just to watch the next episode. Uh, of course, like I remember like his kind of sword and his uh and his powers, and then him and his brother are awesome to watch go head to head. There's been like a couple of Inuyasha movies, but one in particular I thoroughly enjoyed when it's about uh this because like the sword that him and his brother have used to belong to their father, who was this big powerful demon. Of course, he passed away, but uh, the older brother was like a full fledged demon, while Inuyasha was a half demon because his father had like essentially an affair with a human woman who was Inuyasha's mother. But as like a memento, or at least something to pass on to his children, he wielded three swords. One, and it, was definitely Inuyasha sword was part of his demonic dog form tooth, and that's why it's so powerful. But it's kind of like with Devil May Cry with like Dante and Virgil, when they got a powerful father, and he passed on his weapons to his children. Same thing with Inuyasha and Soshomaru, his older brother. They wielded two swords. And of course, for the longest time, Soshomaru resented Inuyasha because he felt like, okay, you gave one of your most powerful swords to this runt, essentially, and you gave me your lesser swords to your most powerful son. I don't get it. And you can't take it out on your father because he's not around anymore. So the second best thing is take it out on your little brother, who he, in a way, resents. But of course, later on, I mean, I'm not gonna spoil anything. It's like the entire series. You can binge watch the entirety of the series, and they got an awesome villain. They both share. Forgot the doggone name of that villain, but he's pretty much almost just like a far-reaching villain that kind of has hands into everything that they come across to, but a very serious threat. But it's like, yeah, the entire series is great, and just to watch Inuyasha and his band of friends just go through all these adventures to ultimately kill the ultimate big bad guy, but he also come across these other different demons, and of course he runs with his brother. But yeah, and then of course like the movie, definitely check out the movies, but the one in particular, I forgot the name of it, but is about like the third weapon that their father possessed, pretty much landed in Inuyasha's hands, and it's too powerful even for him, and he's trying to take over his body to pretty much go on like a onslaught on anything that come across his path. But it's like the one of the few moments where you they meet their father in a way. One of the few moments where they meet their father, and that's the movie that I still remember enjoying. But definitely check out Inuyasha. It's a great classic anime, old school classic anime. I think it started around late 90s, early 2000s is when it was going on through its series. It felt like it took forever for the series to end because I didn't think it was going to ever end, but it finally ended. But they not rebooting, they bringing the show back, but the classic characters that we know from the show is older now, and they got daughters. Inuyasha got a daughter, and so does Shotomaru, and I'm eager to check that out eventually. Don't know if the English dub is out yet or not. I don't think so, but I'm eager to see how if it lives up to classic Inuyasha in any way, or at least even if it becomes its own thing. I don't want them to Teen Titans Go it. You know what I mean? I want to live up to the I mean, either live with the same standards as Inuyasha or at least surpass it. I don't want it to turn to Boruto. You know what I mean? Then we got JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, another one of my favorite, at least in my top four favorite anime, right behind Naruto. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, Pokemon is my number one, Yu-Gi-Oh is my number two, Naruto's number three, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventures is easily number four of my favorite anime of all time. It's pretty much like detective mixed with uh uh you know like a what you call like those like adventure trip round the world trips kind of adventures like Indiana Jones in a way. Uh, of course, I haven't seen each different arc of Joseph Bizarre Adventure. Uh, I think they wrapped up because I watch, of course, uh, well, there because each one is about this family of the Joestar family, with each different one as the each different generation has the that new Joestar familial bloodline character as the main character. The one I first started watching with was with the third generation of Joestars with uh, Jotaro Kujo, the one with the hat on, the third pillar on the list here. I watched a little bit of the first pillar with with his grandfather, Jonathan Joestar, but I didn't like the beginning of it because it took a while. It didn't feel like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure to me at all until eventually, as his season progressed, he beefed up a bit, and then he got these different powers because, of course, they have after his season was over and moving forward, they have these different abilities with stands, which pretty much like internal spirit like energy that's part of your personality that people wield in unique ways with different abilities that fight amongst each other. And they all drawn together somehow, like in a way. It's kind of like they can't help but run into stands when it comes to their adventures. But then you got Joseph Joestar, the second pillar here, which is pretty much Jotaro's father. I definitely watched that because it's an awesome. Anime has a gimmick. Each anime has their own set of gimmicks, like Samurai Ghostbusters with Bleach and stuff like that, and Naruto with ninjas. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is pretty much like uh, worldly trips mixed with detective mixed with like this gimmick where like a lot of stands or characters, especially villains, are like pretty much got like this little gimmick where they named after certain musical songs or musical artists. Like Joseph Joestar, his overarching villain he has to deal with were these three different older god made man kind of essentially villains. Is they're named after, like, at least one of them was named after AC/DC. His actual name is AC/DC, but spelled differently. But you get the same kind of themes going on throughout each JoJo series. But then you got I watched I didn't the last two pillars I haven't come across yet. I'm pretty sure they there's definitely manga of them, but I don't even know if they have like I'm pretty sure they have Japanese anime already out, but not the dub versions. I've seen all the JoJo Bizarre adventures with each different protagonist except those last two pillars. I did not see those, and I think, yeah, I definitely the it was like one, two, three, four, five, six. The sixth pillar with the lady, that's the third pillar, Jotaro's daughter, and she has her own little adventure. That's what I'm familiar with. I played JoJo's Bizarre Adventure video game called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure: Eyes of Heaven. It's on my YouTube channel. You can check it out. The walkthrough. It took me a while to finish that, but this was this was around the time when I started my YouTube walkthrough channel back in late 2019. I didn't get the audio quite right, so you can probably barely hear me that well. But eventually, I just cut out because at the time I was working off of a laptop that wasn't utilizing audio correctly because I couldn't even hook up my headphone to it without it working right. It was like a whole thing. That's when eventually I got this whole PC thing, so I can actually be able to, when I do my walkthroughs, I can hook up my Elgato and my mic and everything like that, and have everything work so perfectly where you can actually hear me when I'm doing live commentary. Because I actually want to speak to you guys when I'm doing my walkthroughs. So I'm not going to revisit it because it took me such a long time. But like some of the stuff, some of the characters I didn't have like much appreciation with because at that time I was only familiar with up to the point of the middle pillar character of I forgot his name, but he will star platinum, not star platinum. That's Jotaro's. He has Shining Diamond as his stand character, but that's around the time when I was watching that. When I was doing my walkthrough of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure: Eyes of Heaven video game walkthrough. So if you want to, you can check out my. I look over here because my TV's over here when I do my gameplay. But anyway, in fact, if you want to check and see, look, that's my TV. That's where I do my games. That's where I game. Just to give you a little inside look. But yeah, the show definitely great. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. You can definitely all three arcs of the first three main protagonists that's on this list of pillars. The first three is definitely on Netflix. So you can definitely watch all three. But I personally recommend if you want to get into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and you can see if you're into it to see about the other stories. The third pillar, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with Jotaro Kujo with a hat. Check that out first and watch the first 5 episodes. If you're still into it, you can definitely check out the other Bizarre Adventure stories with the different protagonists if you feel so inclined, and if you really get into this overarching story with this anime. So yeah, that's definitely my number 4 actual favorite anime of all time. My Hero Academia. Man, this is another show my little brother, turned me on to. Man, it's pretty much like a school for superheroes. If superheroes were existing in real life, personally, I don't think it would be like The Boys at all. A lot of people say The Boys is pretty much more realistic take on real life superheroes. I don't think so. That's a very cynical way of looking at superheroes. That's pretty much the base of the comics are. Personally, I think My Hero Academia mixed with MCU and a sprinkle of DCU will be like more realistic of what superheroes in real life would be, personally, in my opinion, because My Hero Academia is like an awesome show, man. Like easily number 5 my favorite anime, because Deku, All Might, Bakugo, Gravity Girl, Shoto. I mean, these characters are awesome. Yeah, I played a little bit of a My Hero Academia video game on my YouTube channel. You can check that out. It's another one of those Japanese only kind of video games. It's Japanese speaking video games. But I remember having a kick out of it though, because just be able to play as like these characters is so much fun. But definitely not a great game, uh, in my opinion, but this show is great. And like, I really want that next season to hurry up to come out in the English dub version so I can really get back into this. But it's another show. I want to do like a season review for the channel because this show is that awesome. The movies are awesome. It's another movie I couldn't put on my list of favorite superhero, my list of non superhero favorite films. Because I couldn't put in everything on the list. But this would have been the movies based off My Hero Academia are awesome as well. This show is incredible. Definitely check it out. It's on Hulu. You can watch the entire series if you want to, but definitely is like an awesome watch. And definitely the villains in there are so unique. But my favorite one is this hero killer Stain. Is definitely my favorite villain out of the entire series, and it's just like everything involving him, is definitely like it's still within the season 1 era. No, is it season 1 or leading into season 2? It's somewhere around that mix. I'm pretty sure it's still in season 1 era, where this hero killer Stain. I'm not gonna spoil anything about it because you guys gotta check this out for yourself. It's a solid anime. And I think my little brother getting me into this and Fairytale because I love these shows. My number 3 favorite anime of all time, Naruto. Now, I don't like Boruto at all. I think what they did with Boruto is crap. It's supposed to be like the generation after, where like these iconic characters and their kids are taking the helm of everything. But Naruto, classic Naruto and Naruto Shippuden are awesome. Uh, you know, Ash Ketchum, Yukimoto, and Naruto Uzumaki is they speak to me in a way like no other anime main character does. I love Naruto. I was sucked in the moment. I remember the first just because like when they showed first, because I remember like they promoted the hell out of the show when I was a kid, the original Naruto series, and when I checked out, because they did the first 2 episodes back to back on Toonami. I remember that specifically. I was sitting in my room, checking this out, and like I was immediately sucked in, man. Just like just watching this kid and Naruto speak to me in a way because it's like you felt like an outsider, like bullied and stuff like that, and it's like you got this hidden potential that you want to show, and it's like that iconic line, "Believe it," and it's like Naruto, like, really like gave me like his goal to be like the Hokage, pretty much like ninja governor of his village, like really gave me that kind of like oomph I needed, that like that kick like I needed, like he achieved like his overall goal, and throughout these trials and tribulations he never lost sight of his overall goal of being Hokage. And it's like that's how I feel when it comes to like being a voice actor. It's like I'm gonna do whatever I can to and I do the necessary work just to be a voice actor. I don't want to be like one of the greatest voice actors, but I want to be a voice actor and like starring like roles in anime that other kids would like grow up to appreciate and say like you was like I grew up listening to you. And just like I grew up listening to like Steve Bloom and Tara Strong, I want to be like that for another generation of kids, saying like just be that for somebody like Naruto was for me, and Yu-Gi-Oh was for me, and Pokemon was for me. I want to be like that for a generation of kids too, because that's the overall like achievement. Just to say like you inspire me, like I love your show, like you got me through this or that, and it's like that's what anime do, and that's what anime is supposed to do. It speaks to a lot of people as kids into their adulthoods, or at least like you brings families together in a way, and I love this show. It has probably the fight scenes in this, I kid you not, can easily rival even Dragon Ball Z when it comes to fights. Like, if you know this character of Rock Lee, he probably got the best fight scenes out of almost anybody. Even compared to like the two main characters of Naruto and Sasuke Uchiha, and they got some awesome fights, of themselves. But if you ask people who are their favorite like anime fight scenes at all, period, or even just with this show, I bet you one of the first things will be Rock Lee, pretty much based off of Bruce Lee, a character pretty much inspired by Bruce Lee. But Naruto, awesome, awesome show. I cannot tell you how much I love it. That's why it's in number 3 for me. But yeah, definitely, check this out if you have not watched the original series of Naruto. And it also has Shippuden on there, but you start from the beginning with original Naruto, and then go through that into Naruto Shippuden. But then once Shippuden's over, done. You don't have to waste your time with Boruto, his son. That show does not live up to it. I'm sorry, it does not. I am not being biased at all. I checked out the first season. I even gave it an entire season leading into the next season as to see if it gets better, or at least maybe it has like a slow season like Bleach did with his season 1, and maybe into season 2 it gets better. I gave it more of a fair shot than most other people would, and it sucks. I'm sorry, it's Boruto sucked as a character and as a show, and that pains me to say because I love Naruto so good. Naruto's so good, and I love him as a character, and it's just the Boruto series just does not live up to it. And I think the only consensus everybody agrees with as far as like the only good arc in Boruto is when he, I don't want to spoil it, but he did like a time travel into the past to see Naruto and his friends as kids, and Sasuke, helping him, older Sasuke, helping him, track down this bad guy that traveled in the past and everything like that. And that arc was probably like the only good arc out of Boruto series. But around all that, Boruto sucks. But Naruto, fantastic. Fantastic anime. One Piece. And people have this issue with One Piece being so fillery and the length of time to get through certain arcs. I mean, I can see that point. It's just with like their characters are so much fun. That's the thing. That's probably, I fell off on One Piece after they was dealing with this arc where they're going through this island of dead people, and they recruit this skeleton with an afro. And I'm surprised I gotten that far with One Piece as much as I did, because I felt the same way what a lot of people would do, and it felt like it was so fillery, and it's taking forever to get to certain points and stuff like that. And it's still going, as a matter of fact. And I'm just shocked that it's still going at all. And it should have ended a long time ago, to be honest with you. Like, I'm 32, and I've been watching this since like mid 2000s. I was in my early teens, and it's still going. It's honestly, this probably is like about as long as like The Simpsons has probably been going on by this point. But I still like a lot of episodes in this. I cannot put One Piece on my list as far as like great anime that I enjoyed over the years. And like the characters alone is probably what sold it for me as far as like me putting it on the list at all. Because Luffy as the main character is like a cool character. And just like and his superpowers are pretty much like just him just being Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four, to be honest with you. But him utilizing his rubber-based abilities in very unique anime ways is so cool, and I honestly thoroughly still enjoy it. So like, and they had his heated moments. I still remember when him and his lesser powerful character Usopp on his crew got into a heated argument where they pretty much come to blows with you know, Luffy, the captain, had to pretty much pummel his own teammate, one of his best friends, and it was heartbreaking to watch. And being pirates and like his crew just have to just watch on and not interfere, and it's kind of like I don't even understand why. It didn't make sense to me. It still doesn't make sense to me to this day that like they don't get in between these two, and especially knowing one has abilities and the other does not. And it's pretty much he is the weakest. I mean, he's like a sniper among the two, but he's still kind of like a. I'm sorry, Usopp is a kind of like a bitch in One Piece. He's not my favorite character out of this entire show at all. He's one of my least favorite characters, period. And it's like, you know, I don't know. It's just like I don't know. You know, this is like any point to him. He's like in terms of like best friend animes, he's like very low tier, very low tier. Best like the anime best friend kind of trope. He's very low tier, but overall, you got like Zoro and Sanji, uh, Usopp, not Usopp. I'm sorry. I forgot like the other characters' names. Nami. You got so many other great roster among the Straw Hat Pirates that this pirate anime is pretty cool and is worth a watch. At least give the first season a chance. The second season is personally I really thoroughly enjoy better. Probably my favorite one, but yeah, check out One Piece. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. One Punch. One Punch. Man, it has 2 seasons up on Hulu, but like the season 1 is probably the best one. It's definitely the best one. There's certain moments in season 2 that of One Punch Man I thoroughly enjoy, but season 1, man, really got me involved. And like Saitama's, you talking about powerful anime characters, or probably one of the powerfulest characters in like superhero themed kind of stuff in period. One Punch Man is high on that list. I mean, he's lives up to his namesake of defeating enemies with just one punch. It's only rare, maybe at least so far, a couple of times when he has to battle certain opponents that actually take more than one punch from him. And he's usually the overarching villain. And it's like, yeah, it's pretty much like a satire on anime, period. But this character is so good and it's awesome. I thoroughly enjoy watching this guy fight, or at least just beat people, and or at least usually it's not even about him 100% of the time. It's pretty much like the world around him with this hero organization built around these different classes of superheroes dealing with different class of villains that attack random parts of the city. And it's like their interactions with Saitama, the One Punch Man. And most people don't take him seriously, except for a few people who actually know how powerful he is. And it's just great to watching these other people around him. And then, of course, One Punch Man is great. I love One Punch Man, and I do like watching him. You will like watching him in a lot of these episodes, but you'll also thoroughly enjoy the people around him that elevates him in a way, because like especially his cyborg friend Genos. I love Genos too, as far as like a best friend anime character. Genos is great. I wish Genos, it's kind of like with Vegeta and Dragon Ball Z. I wish characters like that get their own moment in beating like a bad guy. It doesn't have to be like the biggest villain of the overarching series or even the season, but if you deal with a powerful villain in their own right, not like the main villain, I just want to see like characters like Vegeta and Genos show their stuff and beat a villain in their own right, and they just like they get like pushed to the side when like the main hero comes into play. But One Punch Man is an awesome show. Definitely give it a watch. There's only 2 seasons. Definitely give it a watch. Give it a chance, and you will definitely thoroughly enjoy this show. Pokemon, my number one favorite anime of all time, and it's just like you talking about Pikachu being like easily like a mascot for like this entire show. It's pretty much Japanese Mickey Mouse, and it's like each region, each season of Pokemon is just phenomenal, and it's just like I don't know. It's like I'm pretty sure I have like a least favorite season is definitely Sun and Moon is my least favorite. When it's pretty much like Ash Ketchum going on vacation in Hawaii, pretty much. But apparently it picks up after he finally starts going through those like different trials, but not gym battles. It was kind of sucks on his own. But you know, I'm not going to bash it. Some people like Sun and Moon. It's not my favorite season of Pokemon or generation of Pokemon. But as a whole, Pokemon as an entire gangbuster of a franchise. I still collect Pokemon cards just like I still collect Yu-Gi-Oh cards every once in a while. I still play Pokemon games. I did walkthroughs of Pokken on my YouTube channel. I will be doing like another like once again like a season review of Pokemon the TV show, going from Indigo League, going forward. But I also will be next month I will start doing like a Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu walkthrough for the Nintendo Switch. I will be playing that because it's pretty much like Pokemon Yellow. And when you get to have not only Pikachu as part of your roster of Pokemon, but you also get Bulbasaur, Squirtle, Charmander, and evolve them into eventually Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard. But like Pokemon, I thought Pokemon will come to an end after the Indigo League was finished, but then they went to the Orange Islands. And then once he's finished and when he finished with that, then Professor Oak tell him about Johto League in that different region, and then it's just become a gimmick, and it's like now, or at least a trope, I should say, that now like it can never end. Technically, eventually it probably have to end, but they come with different regions that represents different parts of the world. Like one region supposed to represent New York City, Sun and Moon supposed to represent Hawaii. The there was like a generation, or at least a region before Sun and Moon, where it's supposed to represent. No, it was the reason after Sun and Moon. It was supposed to represent England. As Pokemon Go is a TV series, the continuation of Pokemon series, but it's on Netflix, exclusively on Netflix. You can check that out too. But Hulu and Netflix have a fair bit of Pokemon seasons. They definitely both have Indigo League and the Orange Islands and Sun and Moon and all that stuff. But man, Pokemon by far one of the best animes out there. Is like people my generation and like a little bit younger grew up with Pokemon at this point. It's part of the zeitgeist. Is like the most iconic, recognizable franchise to this day. There is in Japan apparently is like a Japanese cafe built as a theme for Pokemon, which I want to go to once I maybe like a year from now. When like things die down with the whole COVID situation and like other countries starting to open up to like the world at large again, I want to take a trip to Japan for a week, go to one of these like anime themed cafes, go to the stores and buy like mangas and all this stuff, and just immerse myself in the Japanese culture. But I definitely want to spend some time around these like anime themed stuff. and just explore. And but Pokemon is my jam, man. To this day, I'm a Pokemon fan. I'm a Poke fan. I'm a Pokemon fanatic. A Poke fanatic. It's awesome. And like, please, you can leave a comment below. Let me know which Pokemon region is your favorite. I think Johto is probably my favorite region, right behind Kanto, because like the Johto gym in the league is probably my favorite of the series. Period. Hoenn is great as well, but man, it's like Johto is like my gym. And you talking about like great iconic theme songs. Pokemon, I I guarantee you, Pokemon probably has like the at least it's definitely number one. At least the first reason is definitely the number one favorite Pokemon. Gen 1 Pokemon theme is probably the best anime theme by far in a lot of people's lists in terms of anime theme. It's right in there with like Sailor Moon's theme and Dragon Ball Z. But man, that theme song and One Punch Man as well. The Pokemon theme song, every generation of Pokemon has like a specific iconic theme song, but that you cannot beat that first one, honestly. But yeah, Pokemon is definitely my favorite. I love Pokemon. And I hope one day to voice act in a Pokemon show, at the very least, do like a voice for a Pokemon character. I don't care which. I honestly don't care. I just want to be involved in Pokemon. I'm just telling you right now. Sailor Moon. Speaking of iconic theme songs, Sailor Moon, man. I'd be honest with you. Sailor Moon was my very first anime that I ever watched as a kid. Cause up on late at night. I remember it was late at night. And it was me and my little brother was like living in my grandparents' house with my father. And while he's at work, usually I was up at night, and I remember this coming on, and it's just like anime Power Rangers in a way, but Sailor Moon is like such a fun anime. Like, of course, you would thought it was just for girls, but I thoroughly enjoyed the hell out of Sailor Moon, man. And the Sailor Moon, the Sailor Scouts. My favorite Sailor Scout is still Sailor Mercury. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the green hair, bluish green hair. But man, that was like a turn on to me. As far as like anime, my first anime waifu was Sailor Mercury. And it's like, an ex-girlfriend of mine was surprised that I was like as into Sailor Moon as she was growing up. I told her, like, I'm sorry, Sailor Mercury is my favorite. I like Sailor Moon, but Sailor Mercury is my favorite. I wanted her to dress up because she, used to go to Catholic school. She wear like Catholic uniforms, and it's like, I want you to come dress up like Sailor Moon for me one time. Just like, she thought like it was like, no, we're dressing as Sailor Mercury. Why couldn't it just be Sailor Moon? It's like, I wasn't really into Sailor Moon like that. She's fine, but it's just like I was into Sailor Mercury. Get a blue, greenish wig and put it on for me. What's the problem with that? Come on. But like, yeah, like Sailor Moon's phenomenal, great show. Like, especially for you, if you have daughters, little girls, if you want to get them into anime, show them some Sailor Moon, man. It's like a great show. And you'll probably get a kick out of it too, especially the theme song. Come on, you'll get sucked into by the theme song alone. Soul Eater. Now I'm still currently watching Soul Eater. I just started watching that anime like a few weeks ago, and I took some breaks here and there. I didn't like because I had other stuff to take care of and walkthroughs and work stuff and what have you. But Soul Eater is awesome. But I specifically love like the art in this. But I gotta say, like the one thing I find kind of like very creepy is how they depict their sun and moon in this series. Just like a grinning moon that have their gums bleeding, grinning so hard, and it's like the sun pretty much like got this big ass smile that's almost like it's laughing at you. They both look like they're laughing at you, but one is like open. The sun is open mouth laughing at you, while the moon is grinning. and it's like they got sunken eyes and stuff. Like, it was very creepy to look at. And it's like I wish they don't pan to that stuff anymore. I cannot look at that. But Soul Eater is so far as I'm enjoying Soul Eater. I figured like as much as the episodes I'm going through right now, I wanted to put it on the list of favorite anime. It's like it's solid anime, man. So I haven't completed the series. There's only one season apparently, but it's like 50 episodes. I'm only on like episode 26 right now, currently. So like pretty much halfway done. But so far I'm enjoying the heck out of the show, and I love the characters involved. So yeah, definitely check out Soul Eater. It's a very good show. Seven Deadly Sins, man. Like it's like a Netflix original, I believe, but it's a manga. But Netflix picked it up to be showcased on the show on their network. But yeah, I mean, this show is great. I love the characters involved. The Seven Deadly Sins is pretty much like a turn their head on of what the Seven Deadly Sins are, but they are like the representation of their namesake, especially Pride, which is my favorite, right behind Meliodas, who's the sin of wrath. But uh, the sin of Pride, the guy with the armor on the picture, with the mustache, uh, Escanor, that was his name, Escanor. Man, he lives up to his name of sin of Pride because like he just like very prideful. Everything he talks is like about him, like like uh he will say something similar to like let's say, of course you would back down. I would too if you were going up against someone as powerful as I. Your power is nothing compared to the power of me. And I love when he calls out his powers. Pretty much, he's kind of like the Hulk in his anime in a way, because it's like his power comes from, well, it's kind of like Hulk slash kind of Superman in a way, because he gets his power from the sun. He gets more powerful as the day goes on, and like by high noon, that's his peak power. Now, among the group, Meliodas, the leader, the short guy with the blonde hair, he's the leader. He's definitely the most powerfulest. But when those two goes head to head, it almost cracked the like. It literally they left when they went head to head. They had to, be put in like a bubble because like Meliodas was going crazy, and it's like it was high noon, luckily, and like these two was leaving a crater in the ground. It was going at it so hard, and like Escanor uh, barely feel like anything was like a match for him except for their leader, and it's like they both end up passing out, from each other's blows, and it's like knocked each other out, because the battle kind of went on for like a good solid episode, at least half of an episode if I remember correctly. This was a season 2, I think, but season 2 or season 3, I think it was season 3, because season 3 eventually came out. But yeah, this anime is awesome. I love the show. Escanor is my favorite character out of this. I love Bond, the guy in the red outfit. He's pretty much like the sin of greed. He's pretty much like an immortal, like a badass immortal. But like a lot of ladies love them some Bond. But yeah, this is pretty much an awesome series. Check it out on Netflix. You can watch the entire series. It's awesome. It's like a great show. Trigon, another great anime that I watched as a kid. Johnny on Box. This is his first voice acting role, if I remember from interviews, from watching him on certain interviews. He mentioned it right after Power Rangers. He's gone to other projects, but like this is his first voice acting role. From if I remember correctly, how he describes it. And like he knocked it out of the park, and this is kind of catapulted him into a lot of voice acting gigs. But I loved him as Trigon. He's like a goofy character, but a part of the most skillful fighter and gun wielder. And it was only like one season, but it was like one very long season. And you can definitely check it out on Hulu. It's an awesome show. It's like a very late '90s show. I'm pretty sure it came out in 1999. But yeah, you can watch the entire season one of the show. Very funny character, but it does have its serious moments. You can uh, he has like a very mysterious past. It unfolds getting towards the end, but uh, uh, I don't want to spoil anything. It's like a great classic anime. Definitely check out Trigon. Hilarious show, and just like his weapon is like got like a powerful six shooter, but of course it's not just a six shooter. But I'm not going to spoil that for you because I want you to be at all of this anime. So yeah, definitely check out Trigon. Yu-Gi-Oh! My second favorite anime of all time. Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. Man, I watched the hell to this day. I always revisit Yu-Gi-Oh! In some fashion, whatever generation. Well, more specifically, the first three generations: Duel Monsters, GX, and Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. I pop in and out for Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 and Zexal, but they're my lesser favorite generation of Yu-Gi-Oh! But uh, uh, definitely this series, I will definitely get into it once I do season reviews, going through every generation of Yu-Gi-Oh. This is going to probably be probably my longest one I'm going to be doing, but in between all that, I will be going through some other shows, but definitely want to start off with my anime or TV show reviews of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Masters. But Yu-Gi-Oh! is my favorite anime, at least tied with Ash Ketchum and Naruto Uzumaki so far as my favorite anime protagonist of all time. But man, this show is phenomenal. The card game is phenomenal. Uh, I mean, like there's this like the unique gameplays and everything, and how serious they take it. Being a children's card game, they take it so seriously, and watching the dual battles is awesome, and just like this, dual disc presenting like your holographic creature and all these little. It's very strategic in a way because like the cards, the way the design when you play it, supposed to more often than not react of what your opponent might do in a particular move. And so it's like a mental gymnastics when it comes to like the strategy. You can play very simple, but those hardcore players, they know it's very like a very mental gymnastics when you play it. Like we go through the simplisticness of the game. Uh, you can easily look up how to play the game, but then uh, you just go through the whole beginner level of how to play a game. Then you can go into the whole then a little bit of a casual player, then expert, then pro. You'll know, you'll gradually know how to play the game, and you'll eventually become like at the very bare minimum a casual player, if not an expert. I doubt you'll be pro unless you really try to, go pro with this and go through tournaments and stuff like that in real life. But you gotta be really up on the current Yu-Gi-Oh card game because a lot of people, wherever the new archetype deck is, that's in the zeitgeist at the moment, as well a lot of pros will probably be using in the tournaments. But you can make your own thing too as well. I have lots of Yu-Gi-Oh walkthroughs and gameplays on my YouTube channel. I play that a hell of a lot. Check it out. If you are so inclined to, at least I can show you how the game is played. If you watch my Yu-Gi-Oh videos, you can see how I'm playing it. It's pretty much similar how you can easily play in real life. But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh, check out the series. All of it is on YouTube, and except for Vrains, the guy in the middle is the newest Yu-Gi-Oh generation that came out a couple years back, but they have not produced the Yu-Gi-Oh Vrains dub version yet in the Western area, and I don't understand why. I really want to check this out. People say it's good. I really want to check it out, but I don't know what's the hold up with that is. And for the life of me, I cannot find the dub version anywhere on the internet at all. And that's just a crying shame because it looks very interesting. I want to check it out too. But yeah, the Yu-Gi-Oh series as a whole is an awesome series, and but especially Duel Masters. Duel Masters with Yugi Moto, the guy in the all blue leather right there on the picture. He started off as a little. It was Duel Monsters when it first started. It was like a very niche thing at first. It was trying to gain its footing. I gotta say, again, towards the end of the Duel Monsters series, leading into GX with Jaden, uh, guy with the red jacket on the far right on the picture. Because I don't think. Can you? Oh yeah, there you go. Move it over here for you guys. Right here, you can see my mouse at all. Cursor, Jaden, the far right in the red jacket. You'll see by his generation into the series, it's the game is a little bit more traditional, how it's supposed to be played in real life, except for certain, because certain moments in the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise, they play certain magic cards. It's supposed to be like quick plays. You'll learn about quick plays if you look up the how to play this series. But that's not meant to be quick plays. You play certain cards, and it's not supposed to be meant to be played on your opponent's turn, or at least like in Duel Monsters, they play certain trap cards that's not supposed to be played like Magic at all. But it's just like trying to find its footing in a way. I mean, if you watch the series, if you're familiar with the series already, you'll know what I'm talking about. Because it's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! In its inception kind of cheats here and there in certain bits and pieces. Not all the way, but it's trying to find its footing in a way. It's just like, like a baby lamb, or not baby lamb, like a baby deer trying to walk for the first time. And by the time, after a while, you'll see it gain its footing and prance around a bit. It'll become more of a solid way of playing it. But GX kind of like not perfected it, but definitely stay true to their actual gameplay in real life. And then Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds solidified it. But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds is pretty much the character right here in between Jaden and Yugi right here with the gray gray hair with yellow highlights right here. He's definitely an awesome character too. But I mentioned this in my favorite non-superhero films when those three came together in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime Bonds Beyond Time. Blew my mind. I loved it to this day. So yeah, check out Yu-Gi-Oh! The series. Another classic anime, Yu Yu Hakusho. I rewatched this last year, doing a shutdown period because it's been I was reminded about the show. I wanted to revisit it for old time's sake because it's been so many years since the '90s. Because it's definitely a product of its time because it's very '90s centric, and then a lot of characters, spoke in a way that we used to talk during the '90s, and the way because like this, teenagers at the time how they behave when it's a very macho kind of stuff, but it's still overall like an awesome anime. Personally, I think it didn't pick up its stride until it started to because he's like a spirit detective, and it didn't pick up its stride until you know halfway through season one, because the main protagonist Yusuke, he he's one of those like punk kids, but it's like a like a heart of gold kind of situation to some people, but he ended up dying. It might have spoiled us. He ended up dying to save his kid from getting hit by a car. He's trying to get his soul back to his body by doing certain stuff. But then he became like a spirit detective stopping all these demons from coming to the earthly world, and then he, of course, uh, go through these different tournament arcs and stuff like that. So it's an awesome show. Uh, Definitely check it out, or at least revisit it if you haven't seen this in a long time. Zat's Bell. This is like another classic anime show. I wish they it only did 2 seasons apparently, but getting towards the end of the second, no, I don't know if it was like the end of the second season or getting to the third season when it was like stopped doing English dubs and it carried on with the Japanese, which is kind of like a bummer because I enjoyed the hell out of the show. I want to definitely revisit this for a season review, but the Momoto battles was pretty much like these different short creatures, at least most of them are short, that had this power in what's called the Momoto world, this different dimension, where they had these books, and it's like there's like this not tournament, but it's kind of like this event. They have probably like almost like every generation apparently, where like these Momoto creatures come into the human world with their books, and they usually bump into their destined human partners, and the human partners are the only ones that can actually read the words on their books. It's pretty much like attacks. It's kind of like Digimon in a way slash Pokemon, where it's like you only stuck with this kind of creature, and like you unlock different abilities from the book where they can like wield like different defenses or attacks, and like trying to figure out a way to destroy the other opponent's book. So you and once the book is destroyed, the Momoto creature is sent back to their world. Uh, so the last survivor is the Momoto king of that world, and they get to do whatever they want, pretty much because they're king. And like you got Zech, who and his partner Kyo, at least I think his name was Kyo. You get to they trying to make sure that he becomes the winner overall, so that way his goal, Zach's goal, is pretty much trying to be king. So he will decree that none more of these Momoto battles anymore, because lots of friends get lost, these attachments and all this pain and suffering. He wants to be a benevolent king. That's his goal. He wants to be a benevolent king, so that way you can put a stop to these kind of recycled battles every generations. So I remember this has been an awesome show. I love the hell out of Zatch Bell. I want to come back to this eventually. So definitely give this a watch. You can easily find this online, the first 2 seasons, and give it like a good watch. You will get heavily invested and watch these different unique abilities from these Momoto creatures, and you'll thoroughly enjoy it. And finally, Zoids. Zoids is pretty much like an anime I've watched on Toonami 4 times. Pretty much like where this big, it's kind of like, I was about to say like NASCAR, but it's not like NASCAR. It's kind of like somewhere like a sport of NASCAR, but instead of cars, you got these different Zoids. Like imagine if like Power Rangers Zords, whereas in some kind of like tournament, and it's like of like a NASCAR like spectacle, and like it's on these different teams, and you fight each other for like a grand championship. Of course, there's like bad guys wielding Zoids, and it's just like a whole big, like if NASCAR with like Power Rangers Zords, pretty much, but except they don't transform. They got different weapons, of course, but they're like animal based, like mechanical, robotic inventions, but they kind of like behave in a way almost like animals, which is kind of a unique twist. But I don't know what's like the origin to all these in this world when it comes to these like Zoid based robotic tournaments, and or at least this world as a whole using these robotic based inventions, because they're very unique. They got like flying based Zoids, ground based, tunneling underground based Zoids sometimes too. All different animal kind of take on these creatures. They're not creatures, but they're just robotic uh, inventions that constantly need tune-ups and stuff like that. It's like I said, it's kind of like NASCAR with Zords, and it's like awesome to watch. So these are all my favorite animes that I ever watched growing up. Leave a comment below. Let me know which one is your favorite. If anything on my list did you share a similar taste in, please let me know. Uh, uh, is there animes that you don't like so much? Leave a comment below as well. And I will see you all tomorrow with my final discussion video for the month, where my favorite video games of all time. So I'll see you all soon. Take care, and I love you all 3000.